Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Still morning. Kind of feels like afternoon already, but it is not. At least in Colorado, it's not. Happy Thursday. Yes, Thursday. Happy Thursday to you. Going live in my live shirt. People don't remember the band Live. They're one of those bands where if I could put on songs, you're like, oh, I know that song. I know that song. I know that song. Morning, Leisure. Morning. Good to see you again. I getting some stuff done. Stuff I've been putting off for a while. You know, applying for disability, which I should have done a long time ago. But there's my back scratcher. I've been looking for it. All right, I'm gonna put that right there so I can put it where it belongs. I'm 54 and there's required back scratchers. I can't reach where I used to be able to reach, man. If I try, I'll throw out a shoulder or something. No, you know, why did I put it off? Because it's kind of embarrassing, man. You know, I have a lot of things that keep me from doing some of the things that I want, and I work through those fear. And you know, it's as a man, it's just kind of embarrassing to admit, hey, I can't go out and work. I can't do it the way that other people do. It's just, you know, I get a little. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I was talking to a friend, Christine. She's not in the program, so I can say her name. I'm not gonna give you a last name though, because I don't know it off the top of my head. I can figure it out, but yeah, she said, "Do you mind if I ask you a personal question?" I'm like, no, go ahead. That's kind of why we're talking. And she's just a person I met. We just talk. There's no set anything, which is kind of nice because there's no expectation. Who knows what we're going to talk about that week? We meet each week. Um, she's kind of an intern, but she said she's like, did you consider that you might have ADHD? And Leisure, you'll appreciate this. And I said, you know, it's been brought up several times, and my answer is I'm denying it at the current moment. I know I have ADHD. I've known for a long time. It's just I'm already diagnosed with 4 different mental illnesses, and I don't want a fucking another one, man. I don't. I just don't want another one. Um, I'm not saying I don't do certain things to help with my ADHD, or some of the things I do. Well, breathe, stop for a second, walking real fast, turning those corners nice and tight, try and turn the light switch off as you're walking out of the room, all those things, right? But yeah, it's just denial. It's just denial. And there's not a river in Africa. Well, the Nile is, but the Nile is not. All right. All right. Let's get to the 12 by 12. Tradition 1 is not too awfully long. If you'd like a more in-depth one on Tradition 1, you can find it at trudgingtogether.org. And I did a whole tradition series. Oh my gosh, I have faded. I've faded. Think about buying another microphone. I know you guys can all hear me fine, but the sound quality needs to be kind of better with what I would like to do. And I had this Blue Yeti for quite some time. Hey, Ingrid. Yeah, good to see me. A lot of girls are just really enjoying me taking my clothes off. What is that? Okay, now I should ask for donations. Send me them ones, ladies. But this is my old microphone. I used it for a while, but it got fucked up because I kept having to use it at the hybrid meetings. So um, remember, I was kind of having trouble. So that's my Blue Yeti, which is currently not working. I was in Zoom meetings and kept trying to switch microphone. Yeah, just there's something wrong with it. I suppose I should do introductions, huh? Welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. I am Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. All right. So the thing behind tradition one is sacrifice. It's the theme behind tradition one that I'm going to be giving up a lot of my extracurricular activities for, sacrificing what I want for the needs of a group. You know, um, Groups, just like people, can grow together or they can split apart. Yeah, but if we can try and keep our primary purpose in mind, which is what? To stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. That's our primary purpose. It's all we do. We don't get involved with a lot of other things. If you were here the other day, um, we went over some of the things that people complain about with AA. One of them was it was too simple. Okay. So the 12 steps and 12 traditions are a way to a better life. The better life is up to you, man. It's up to you. Hey, Trevor, good to see you, brother. I just noticed you kind of spell your name a little bit different from the other Trevors I know. I just noticed that. You end it with an ER. Most of the Trevors I know, I have a brother Trevor, and it's OR. So, but I get it. My name is spelt God knows how many different ways. Yeah, there's Neon Dion. Hey, your name's it's like Neon Dion. Like, no, I'm older than him. You got it from me. Okay, let's get this straight. Celine Dion, Dionne Warwick. There's a lot of Dions out there. I was named after Dion from Dion the Belmonts. Let's get started. Tradition one: our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. You know, Groups were a happy, um, or is it TO? TO, Trevor, TO. Oh, mine is or two. Oh, there's Dijon. Do I happen to have any Grey Poupon Dijon mustard? Um, if you take the N out of my name, it's Dio, like Ronnie James Dio. If you spell my name backwards, it is Noid. Avoid the Noid. You remember the Noid? Yeah. So a lot of, I utilize my name in order to get through things. It's kind of funny. All right. All right. Let's get going. The unity of Alcoholics Anonymous is the most cherished quality our society has. Our lives, the lives of all to come, depend squarely upon it. We stay whole or AA dies. Without unity, the heart of AA would cease to beat. The world arteries would no longer carry the life giving grace of God. His gift to us would be spent aimlessly. Back again in their caves, alcoholics would reproach us and say, what a great thing AA might have been. Now, let me tell you the probably the most important part in this for me, or that I've experienced freely received, freely given. Free. Okay. Now, by free, what do we mean in this? What do we mean by free? Okay. We don't mean money. Shouldn't be any money involved in the first place. We'll not go for paid 12 stepping. I will just not go for it. Okay. That's a different topic. I know plenty of people in recovery that work in the field, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they are not paid 12 steppers. No, they have sponsees and they freely give it away before the work comes along. Sponsees before clients. That's kind of the rule. Don't always follow it, but there it is. So it has to, what else? What else? Well, first of all, there's no requirements. There's no dues to be paid. There's no axes to be grind. You know, you say you're an alcoholic, then you're welcome in. Or you don't even have to say, like the grassroots meeting, they are closed, but you don't need to say, my name's Dion, I'm an alcoholic. It could be, hey, Julia, it's good to see you. Good to see you. You know, they could even come in and just say, my name's Dion, and I think I have a drinking problem. Good enough for me. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. It does not say you have to claim to be an alcoholic either. No. What else does freely mean? It means that your gender, your ethnicity, your thought process, and how you feel about things is not on the table here. It's not a requirement, right? So, does this mean some will anxiously ask that in AA the individual doesn't count for much? Is he to be dominated by his group and swallowed up? It's a great question, and a lot of people do feel that way. A lot of people do feel that way. Maybe they were approached wrong. Maybe, you know, there was a comment that I saw the other day. It said, "But if AA did you harm," and the thing is like saying, "This Rubik cube did me harm." Okay, because somebody threw it at my head, right? Did the Rubik cube do the harm, or did the person over there? Can't blame the cube, can you? AA, Alcoholics Anonymous is not capable of hurting anybody. It's not capable of it. It's a way of life. It can't be done. Okay. I'm not saying that there aren't people in meetings. Okay. But where do we go there? What principles before personalities? They're sick. They're spiritually ill. And but for the grace of God, go, I. They may irritate me because I refuse to work on something myself. So I'm going to point out theirs so that I don't need to really look at myself. I've done that. So the individuality here, okay? We don't tell you to believe in anything. There are no have-tos in AA. Everything is suggested, and it's suggested because people don't like being told what to do. I don't like being told what to do. Hey, could you please do the dishes when you have a chance? I'd appreciate that. Will you do the fucking dishes? Otherwise, the dishes need to get done, right? And they've been getting done, by the way. For those of you that follow me a lot, they've been getting done. I relaxed. I went, well, my stepdaughter's dad died. And I told them, I said, right now, I don't even give a fuck about the dishes. You take care of yourself. And I'll take care of it. So I've kind of been doing them. More not. So individuality is very much I want you to be an individual. I don't what I don't want to hear is going to an AA meeting and somebody just regurgitating the big book. Put your own spin on it, man. Tell how you feel about it. It's all right. I want to hear about it. Even if I don't agree, I kind of want to hear about it. Absolutely. You have to pick your own higher power. You have to pick your sponsor. Look at all these options that we give you. It's actually very freeing. If anything else, we support the right for the individuality. If anything, we may certainly answer this question with a loud no. We believe there isn't a fellowship on earth which lavishes more devoted care upon its individual members, Surely there is none which more jealously guards the individual's right to think, talk, and act as he wishes. No AA can compel another to do anything. Nobody can be punished or expelled. Our 12 steps to recovery are suggestions. The 12 traditions which guarantee AA's unity contain not a single dote. They repeatedly say we ought, but never you must. Yeah, we ought to, right? So, because, and it kind of needs it because AA in one town may be different than AA in that town because the needs are different. Maybe there's some social area in that place where it needs to be a little different. You know, when we do AA meetings, about the needs of our community. It's about the needs. I'm getting ready to set up some in-person AA meetings, and I'm trying to put them in places where it isn't near a bunch of other AA meetings. Yo, Amber, good to see you. Good to see you. Now, neat thing here is we got some direction. We got some direction, and that's kind of nice because my alcoholic mind and super promoter instinct. Yeah, I have one. And these traditions help me stay away from that. Okay. The podcast follows the traditions. It follows the traditions. Sure, it does. And it's been quite often. It doesn't happen anymore. Okay. Now, I choose to follow the 12 traditions. Not everybody needs to do that. They don't have to do it that way. But I found a way that kind of works for me that I'll give you an example of that. It used to be Raw Recovery with Dion, special guest, da 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 da. Special guest Amber. All right. Now it's Raw Recovery with Amber, hosted by Dion. It's not even about me anymore. I'm the host because it made it seem like I was above or something better than. And my listeners don't want that shit. So, morning, Claire Joyce. It is good to see you. Good to see you. Too many minds, all this liberty for individuals spells like sheer anarchy. Gonna feel like it in the beginning. Every newcomer, every friend who looks at AA for the first time is greatly puzzled. They see liberty verging on license. Yet they recognize at once that AA has an irresistible strength of purpose and action. How, they ask, can such a crowd of anarchists function at all? How can they possibly place their common welfare first? What in heaven's name is holding them together? Most of it has to do with the fact that we understand that if you don't give this away, you can't keep it. AA is the ultimate pay it forward. It is the language of the heart. It is the language of the heart. 8 people, what? I think that's the highest that number's been in years. There goes those cats again. The kids didn't take care of them before they left. Again, we'll get to it. I have a little more patience today, so I don't mind hearing the gadunk 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 gadunk. Now it's just sound like an EDM. Gadunk gadunk utsa utsa gadunk. All right. That we need the groups. We're doing it right now. We're doing it right now. There are 9 of us gathered together and we're talking about recovery. This is a group right now. I know we didn't do the serenity prayer, we didn't do the preamble, we didn't read from the big book. Okay, that none of that's really required. That is structure of an AA meeting so that when you go, it's consistent everywhere you kind of go. Right? That we have to do this together. I mean, if there's everybody can agree whether it doesn't matter where they come from in the field. We all understand that it takes a tribe. It takes a tribe. I was just talking with my friend Christine yesterday, and they had some peer coaches come in, and the first thing that they said was, We don't need the professionals. Where's my coffee? Where's my coffee? There it is. I see it. I see the edge of my coffee. Gotta have coffee. Give me my coffee. All right. Those who look closely soon have the key to this strange paradox. The AA member has to conform to the principles of recovery. Okay. And what are the principles of recovery? Let's go find them out. Okay. This one's kind of short, so I'm lengthening it with some other stuff here. So we're gonna go here. What are the principles of the program? There's a principle behind each step. Okay. And I'm just going to name them as I'm just going to go down and name them: honesty, hope, faith, courage, integrity, willingness, humility, brotherly love, justice, perseverance, spiritual awareness, and service. Okay. So when we talk about the principles, that is what we're of the program. Every step has a principle behind it, or as you might say, a concept. Head to the Nooner. It's not for 19 minutes. Unless it's in person, right? But it was good. I'm just giving you a hard time. Thank you, Ingrid. It was good to see you, and I love you. So his life actually depends upon obedience to spiritual principle. If he deviates too far, the penalty is sure and swift. He sickens and dies. Hey, Neil. Good to have you. Good to have you. I did not know you were a regular viewer, but it is awesome. You know, I don't have like this huge following, but my followers, there you go. See, okay. See, she's like, she has to pee and wants to grab, she wants to do some service work. Good on you. Dion is the Nooner. Yeah, for some of you at work, huh? I am the Nooner. Thanks. But Neil, it's good to have you. It's always nice to hear, because the way it goes here, I'm trying to look for the right word, and I'm just gabbing until it comes. I have a tight following. I really do. So, Neil, it is always good to hear from my viewers, and even then, I don't know that they're not my viewers. We're all in this together. Jerry, where the fuck you been? Where have you been, Jerry? Good to see you, bud. Everybody's coming out of the bushes today. That's awesome. Good for everybody. Makes me excited, man. Makes me excited. So, at first, he goes along because he must, but later he discovers a way of life he really wants to live. That's it. You remember when it switched from having to go to those AA classes to, oh, I better get to my meeting. I'm gonna get, Ingrid just did it. She's like, I love you, but I'm headed to my meeting. Okay. That was selfish. It's a good selfish. It's a very good selfish. Right? Yeah. We got to give this away or we can't keep it. But we revert from, oh, I have to do this to I get to do this. I'm glad that I'm allowed to be this new person. Right? And the best way to kind of carry this through would be through meetings, through groups. So, moreover, he finds he cannot keep this priceless gift unless he gives it away. It's the only way to keep it. And the more you give it away, the more you get to keep it. What did Dr. Bob say why he did service work and why he does what he does? Because it takes out some insurance against a possible slip. Right? Because it makes me feel better. I had that feeling of being useless for years. And now I feel like a useful member of society. And That adds to so many things. I don't know why perseverance popped in my head, but it did. It'll add to your perseverance. Add, yes, it will, because your self-esteem goes up. And it's not they esteem, it's not we esteem, it's self-esteem. Everything has to start inside. Inside, with the language of the heart, which is love. Love is what connects us all. Yeah. Yep, Claire Joyce, absolutely. Intense work with it. Nothing so much ensures immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. Don't go to the other activities first. Just go straight to the thing that works, right? Let's say this is a remote. I taught this to my son a few months ago, right? And he's like, okay, can you put the remote down? Right. Can you please put the remote down? Put the remote down. Right. All right. You don't need to build up to anger. Just raise your voice. You don't need to get angry. Just raise your voice up. Put it down now. See, I didn't have to get angry. But when I have to repeat myself, I will start to get angry. Right? All right. Moreover, he finds again, neither he nor anyone else can survive unless he carries the AA message. So what are we doing? We are sitting in the shade of trees that the people before us planted. So what are you doing? Well, you're keeping that grove going. You are planting trees of which you will never sit in the shade. And that is true humility. That is humility. Okay? It doesn't say tree planted by Dion. No, it was just some dude, some lady that planted this tree, and now I get to sit under the shade. Isn't that neat? It's neat to know that we get to do that now. We used to run around chopping the trees down. All right. The moment this 12-step work forms a group, another discovery is made that most individuals cannot recover unless there is a group. How else are we going to learn? It's a very evasive way to learn. Instead of it, like IOP where it's in your face and you better share. Not saying IOP is bad because it's not. IOP is great. But here is, and these lives, a very evasive way for you to learn the program without people staring at you or these other things or judgment being passed. I'm not talking about AA groups with that. Okay. So, I would not be able to stay, I might be able to stay sober, but I don't know that I would be able to touch much of recovery. I need to be reminded why I'm doing what it is that I'm doing. Realization dawns that he is but a small part of a great whole, that no personal sacrifice is too great for the preservation of the fellowship. There's that word, sacrifice. It's the theme of tradition one. Where are you're not going to be sacrificing chickens or your children. Time, maybe a little bit of money. But time is the most precious commodity that you have. Holding space for somebody else who has always been put aside in life, tell me it ain't, because it is. It destroys loneliness. The group can stop somebody from committing suicide, taking their own life, and destroying other people's lives. I'm telling you that when there's one trait every alcoholic and addict has, I've been around this, doing this too long, and it's loneliness. And if we can take care of the loneliness, the odds of you staying sober increase dramatically. So why not give those odds? Why not supply those odds? So I'm a housing first person. Oh, they're a drug addict. They shouldn't have a house. What? They shouldn't have a roof over their head. Fuck you. That's like saying that person over there has schizophrenia, that person has cancer, and therefore they don't deserve a roof over their head. I ain't gonna buy it. Because when I put a roof over somebody's head and they're willing to stay sober, again, their odds are increased dramatically. Dramatically. He learns that the clamor of desires and ambitions within him must be silenced whenever these could damage the group. It becomes plain that the group must survive or the individual will not. So, at the outset, how best to live and work together as groups became the prime question. In the world about us, we saw personalities destroying whole peoples. The struggle for wealth, power, and prestige was tearing humanity apart as never before. If strong people were stalemated in the search for peace and harmony, what was to become of our erratic band of alcoholics? As we had once struggled and prayed for individual recovery, just so earnestly did we commence to quest for the principles through which AA itself might survive. On anvils of experience, the structure of our society was hammered out. I call the 12 by 12, or at least the traditions, and when the long forms of the traditions, one big tent step. Because mostly they talk about how they did it and it was incorrect. Right. So they use a lot of it, and that's what their experience was. So if we can learn from that experience, then what happens is we get closer to helping more people because we will avoid the disastrous pitfalls that came before us. But if we do not learn from the past, if we do not learn from other people's experiences, you are doomed to repeat it. I don't care what generation you are, right? The whole cancel culture was extremely dangerous from not learning from our elders, right? Yeah. Because see, there's some things in life that only come with experience. It don't they don't the only way you can do it is by getting older. All right. So countless times in as many cities and hamlets we reenacted the story of Eddie Rickenbacker and his courageous company when their plane crashed in the Pacific. Like us, they had suddenly found themselves saved from death, but still floating upon a perilous sea. How well they saw that their common welfare must come first. It's the same here. We can't be we can't be greedy, right? What would be a good example of that? Well, the hosts and chairs of Zoom meetings. They need to change, man. You can't have the same person chairing all the time. I've been chairing the grassroots meeting. I'm like, will somebody else chair it, please? Will somebody else chair it? And any of my listeners, if you ever want to join the grassroots meeting, just please feel free to reach out to me. Send me an email, DionMiller@live.com. You know, you can go to the website. Here, I'll put my email in here. All right. All right. How well they saw that their common welfare came first. None might be selfish of water or bread. Each needed to consider the others, and in abiding faith, they knew they must find their real strength. And this they did in measure to transcend all the defects of their frail craft. Every test of uncertainty, pain, fear, and despair, and even the death of one. Thus it has been with AA. By faith and by works, we have been able to build upon the lessons of an incredible experience. They live today in the 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous, which, God willing, shall sustain us in unity for so long as He may need us. Isn't it nice to know that AA will continue because there is a power out there that wants it here? It's pretty neat that that I can sacrifice being a big shot so that I can make a difference in my community, right? Stop trying to save the world and save your family. Stop trying to save the world. You got to start with your family, man. You got to start there, okay? Because once you have helped healed your family, then you can move on to community. Actually, your block, then your neighborhood, then your community, then other communities, then the state. See, there's a process in which it needs to be done, but you cannot transmit something you do not have. Okay, bunch of recovery coaches and peer support people running around who've done no work on themselves yet, still living in their own trauma. Can't have that, man. So you got to work on becoming the best version of you that you can be first, and then you can spread it. Then you can spread it. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. 5 minutes left for any of those going to Zoom meetings, the Zoom noon meetings. I'll probably go to one, fill up my time here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. This has been Tradition One. I love you. No, I do. Peace out.